Welcome back to week 1 of the OPL. We're getting a look at the Chiefs right now, who were absolutely dominant in their first game versus the Direwolves. Fantix's destiny, the new bottom lane, because Razor's rubbed out for 2 weeks. Looked pretty good.
Looked pretty damn good, to be honest. They performed very well. The Direwolves put a lot of priority on that. First pick the Cogmore, and then didn't lead to a whole lot for them, but see if they change it up this time. You said after the first game there that they might try and make the bot lane a bit more volatile, so they do have the 80 carry main there, and they do have Cupcake, King and Cupcake obviously there. Potentially looking for some more aggressive picks to play out the lane.
What other change-ups do you want to see? I mean, what else did you take away from that game? Put your pro player hat on. You go back to the rooms, and either team, you're like, boys, we need to change this. Potentially,
you fling more bans at top. You get Swiper off these nullifying tanks, I think. Ban away the Maokai, ban away the Ornn like they did last time. It is switch sides, so maybe they don't have to there. Maybe the Chiefs will ban that away for them. But get Chippies on a better matchup for him. He wasn't able to do a lot of stuff in that matchup, the Gnar versus the Maokai, so I want to see him be more proactive.
And this was arguably the Direwolves' best side of Summoner's Rift. When they swapped to red and they had such potent solo laners that were able to third pick a champion and then start flinging bans at the counter was arguably when they were the most dangerous last year.
Yeah, 100% agree with you there as we are into Champ Select now. So
I like it when he does that. Every now and again I say comment and he's like, just prove it. And I'm like, well, I can't because I currently reside in Diamond 5.
Me?
Yeah.
What? I mean, I'm Platinum 1 because I just did pro builds.
Did you?
Because I just did promos.
Are you Plat 1 at the moment?
Yeah, that's the highest you can get. If you're a Challenger player and you do promos, you get Plat 1.
I told you at the start of this year, I said, Bryce, one thing I will warn you about becoming a caster is your own personal ranking just goes to absolute atrocious levels. And you were like, I will be the highest ranked caster.
I will. I mean, I'm only versus you, so what rank are you right now?
What do you mean? No, I mean globally.
Oh,
you got
did
like
I
Kobe
say that?
that still resides.
Words have been put in my mouth, dude. I don't know about that one. Who's the highest? Who is the highest ranked caster?
I would say Kobe right now.
Okay, and where does he reside?
Masters NA.
Okay, I can do that, yeah.
You can do that?
I did quote me right now. Clip it. I'll do it.
Clip it?
Yep. As we are into actual Champ Select here, we should talk about the bans coming through.
Melzar, Edwardi, Gangplank, Azir gone. What else do you want?
Yeah, Azir on. Zoe comes through.
Zoe? Did we see Zoe banned or picked at all?
I think she was second phase banned.
Oh, was she?
Yeah.
All right, then I won't access it.
Actually, no, I don't think she was.
No, I don't think she was.
Because it was Cassio into Ryze. Yeah, I absolutely just lied to you. They picked Ryze. Ryze was emerging as when Zoe was first released. Obviously, this is now nerfed to Zoe, but that was the #1 counter. Initially, people trying to figure it out. Maybe not be that successfully now, but...
what the heck? Ezreal, Kalista, still up and available. The two champions that we thought we would never see or see always in the bottom lane, and it is a Cogmore first pick. With Ornn still available? No, he's not. He's banned. All right.
But they do take away the Braum. There was the TF hover. Obviously, Fantix on the other side. Direwolves know he's a big TF fan. I want to see him whip out the TF 80 carry. That's horribly bad. Don't do it, but that'd be fun.
Yeah, but he's going to play Cogmore this game. You can see Braum, potentially Kalista going to be locked in. So all of a sudden, volatility has been added to that bottom lane.
100% there, and obviously the Chiefs don't want to pick the Kalista. Fantix not comfortable on that as the mid lane 80 carry sub, so King can play it. Most notably known for potentially his Kalista over his course of time on the Direwolves there, and it will unlock Cupcake to potentially have a better game this game. See where that one goes. There's a Tahm Kench coming away as the answer there. Good matchup into the Braum in the 1v1 specifically there.
Yeah, Kalista kind of does change it up because you have to eat the 80 carry out of the Kalista ulti, and then Braum, of course, just flings down the ultimate, able to jump on his head and start punching him. Once again, Ryan are going to take Cassiopeia. So, I mean, you're the expert on bottom lane. Cogmore, Tahm, good at going backwards. Kalista, Braum, arguably good at going forward. Who wins this one?
Yeah, I don't think it's about who wins. I think it'll be very stable. It's just that Cogmore and the Tahm Kench are quite vulnerable to ganks, specifically the Tahm Kench. Cogmore very immobile, but will get eaten. And then Braum passive does a lot to interrupt Tahm Kench. As the Tahm, you do get stunned up by that passive, and then you can't pop your grey health. There's so much CC. The Braum has the option of chaining it with the ulti there. Whereas on the other side, you have the Braum to block damage for the Kalista, and then Kalista's just going to rip him out with the ulti there, so fairly safe.
We see the first Vladimir locked in, and it's going to be potentially a flex, as we've seen it a lot in top lane, a tiny bit in mid lane. We also see Gnar banned away, Camille banned away by the Chiefs, so they honestly believe it's still a flex.
100%. Interesting to see if they do flip that one up into the top lane, and the reason for it is because of the unsealed spell book there. able to take the Ignite, pull that early pressure into the top lane matchups, and then switches it around for the TP if he needs to TP back to lane, for the Ghost later on, gives him access to the back line. Someone like the Kog'Maw, Vladimir has a very easy time getting onto him, can dodge with the pull under the CC, can dodge under the Casio, and then get onto that backline.
And I like that they've matched it with a Jarvan ban, because one thing that does kind of ruin Vlad's day is if he just gets locked in a Cataclysm and can't really do all that much. Jace also banned away by the Chiefs. A champion we've seen, I think, once in pro play, played it against Anar as a counter pick, and then have not seen him at all. Of course, one of Chippy's big champions. But they've already shown it's going in the top lane now. Orianna locked in.
And that was the Wolf jungle game. SKT whip out the old support, flex into jungle role, and they did split the map against the Jace.
Did you ever dream of playing another role?
No.
Not at all?
No, I'm a one trick. I'm absolutely a support one trick.
I was really hoping you were going to be like, I always wanted to be an 80 carry, because I was going to say, if you play 80 carry made this split, you are not reaching Master.
I agree. 100% agree. Not good, not good. As they do, as we said, lock in the Orianna. So Vlad 100% in the top lane. Cho'Gath, yeah, that is very interesting. Not the best tank on this patch, but with all the bans coming through, we have Ornn. Maokai is still available here, but...
Maokai does well into Vladimir as well. Not the worst matchup. And Kha'Zix's going to be also locked in. Cho'Gath, of course, can silence for the pull. It gets outranged very significantly. It doesn't really have the wave clear to go with it.
Better later, I think. Later on in the game, if you land a silence on the Vlad, he just does absolutely nothing. It can ruin his day. He goes for an engage, gets silence, can't pull, can't ulti. Also, Vlad relies on getting that health back, so once you cast the Hemo Plague there, you go onto the backline, as we do see the Shyvana locking in.
This is going to be the O's pick. I'm calling it right now. Shyvana is, at the moment, so quick at farming. I have spec many solo queue games where the top CS on the map has been Shyvana. It just zooms around, takes dragons, gets that passive nice and high, and just in the late game, 80 carries, especially the likes of Kog'Maw, because she builds Frozen Mallet, just can do absolutely nothing.
Just absolutely rain terror on them. She does take press the attack as that rune there, so she does an incredible amount of damage. Obviously, her bite procs it twice there, and then she's a good snowball pick as well. If you get ahead in the early game, you start racking up those dragon kills, like the elemental dragon kills, gives you armor, gives you resists, you become obscenely tanky, and as you said, you have so much sticking power with the slows in the dragon form, with the Frozen Mallet.
And goes Devour. The only yellow item jungler, I think, still in the game.
Potentially Master Yi one-tricks around the world. We will see a former Master Yi one-trick in Swathe playing later today, but...
Was he a Master Yi one-trick?
Yeah, at one stage.
Was he real good? Hit or miss?
Hit or
Better
miss.
Now that he plays
He was a Master Yi one-trick, so how much can I compliment him here? But obviously not anymore in the competitive scene, but... Coming back to this game, yeah, we did see the Shyvana on the side of Prayless coming in, and I have seen him playing a lot in solo queue. Playing that Shyvana is a big proponent of that one there.
I actually think that a lot of those solo queue players have been playing Shyvana. I think that, I mean, jungle is, especially if you're a tank jungle player, solo queue can not be your friend at times. As we've seen lots of people complain about, you know, noticeably Juves and Spooks last split. They said they got one gank before level 6, one gank after level 6. And then, of course, that they would just give it over to their bottom lane. However, we are onto the riff for Game 2. It's going to be the Chiefs on blue side, Direwolves on red side. But we do have Laura standing alongside of Sharp. So let's throw it to there now.
Thanks, guys. I'm standing here with Sharp. Now, both you and the Chiefs have recently boot camped in Korea. But what has your team brought home and learnt from that experience?
I guess there's a range of stuff. Like, obviously, individual talent of each and every player increased significantly. We had our performance director over there, was able to do some amazing, I guess, having chats with the guys and giving us some update on how we want to approach this next split in the coming year. And given our, I guess, international failure, how we can like move on and like learn from that experience.
We've got Prayless subbing in for Shernfire for the next 2 weeks. How has this affected your preparation coming into today's match?
Well, surprisingly, Prayless has been, I guess he's integrated really smoothly into the team. He's a really nice guy, really easygoing. We've had him over at the High Performance Center practicing with the guys, and Shern's been there helping him out. So it's been all right,
It's good to hear that he's been fitting in. But you've just come out of a loss, so what does the team have to do to turn this series around to come out with a win?
I guess we're not really affected by the loss, I guess. Regardless, we're just going to continue our game plan, continue as we practice throughout the week, and hopefully pull out a win.
Well, thanks for your time, Sharp, and best of luck with the series.
Thank you.
super leash there out of the Direwolves. Braum, Callista.
That's a very good leash.
That is a great leash.
You also take less damage because Braum also stuns it, so you don't just do a lot of damage, you take less damage as the jungler.
And really nice Braum players take a couple of auto attacks for you as well.
Yep. I mean, they have the Relic Shield regen pop, and as soon as they get into lane, they proc it, so...
Did you used to take shots?
No, I didn't actually.
You did not?
No, he always complained. Sorry, man.
That is... I was setting you up for a really nice, like, yeah, of course, me and Spook's great, so just absolutely ditch Ryoma. However, pushes early. Cheeky red ward there.
Will find the Shyvana there. I think he is doing the camp. He's jostling around. Did see him, so they do have vision onto Prelis there. Noe's taken the red buff, as we do have another Infernal Drake spawning. And every opportunity an Infernal Drake has spawned in this series.
Certainly has, and you can see Babip just goes the solo camps, although he picked up some Raptors on the way. Interestingly enough, actually did the big Raptor. Seen a lot of junglers skip the big Raptor and go towards this camp for a little bit of extra speed. Prelis going for the super farm, top to bottom, now back to bot.
Classic Shyvana.
Yeah.
As, does Babip kill the whole camp here, or is he just going to take out the big one
just
here
take the two big ones and get out.
Yep.
No,
nope. Babip going to do the whole thing.
He's an old school jungler. I respect this.
Yeah, wants to kill each and every single golem here. As I do want to talk about briefly, we do have the Spell Thieves on the Vlad in the top lane. So in this matchup, obviously range versus melee, and early on, Vlad has a lot of sustain. Cho'Gath's going to push him in a bit because he has more AoE, but as you get to level 8, level 9, he's going to be absolutely fine there. But takes the Spell Thieves in this greedy matchup, can proc it whenever he wants with those Qs, as you just saw, and then probably looking to finish it early. Once you actually do finish the item, you do lose the passive denial where you CS a creep and then you can't get the proc up. It resets the cooldown. So once you upgrade it fully to Frost Queen's Claim, gives you a lot of safety in that it nets you free vision. You can see where the jungler is. And you do get that advantage as well.
Gives you 10% cooldown. Gives you good AP as well.
For its cost, absolutely.
Yep, for its cost. It happens all the time. Jungle items, support items. They last as jungle and support items for about half a season.
And everyone else
before everyone else starts buying them. Guess what, Bryce? Nerf will probably be around the corner for that item. And AP supports will say, we already cannot play against tanks at the moment. Why do you make the game harder for us? And unfortunately, it's because of stuff like this.
Absolutely. Triple taking a rough trade here on this one. Has no pots already. Stopwatch not available, but doesn't need to use that one there. Doesn't have the unsealed spellbook here on the Orianna, so would have probably not liked to be in this situation. Despite him burning the heal last game for that one, he won't have that option to try and switch it out and TP back. So Ryoma once again on the Casio, having the control.
Prelis goes for a very aggressive invade and must have had the Chiefs jungler pinged out for him there because he has pulled it into Babip's brush. And now we'll get a sneaky recall as Chippy's actually has to sanguine.
Does he recall? Babip was almost going to face check him there. Potentially could have looked for the 1v1, but Kha'Zix obviously would have had the isolation damage, so might not have come out on top of that one. Does just choose to recall, get his items up, gets himself a dagger to be able to just speed farm, and that's all he's looking to do here. As you see, the rest of the Direwolves lanes playing pretty safely. Until 6, bot lane won't be too volatile, and then we'll start looking for ganks down there as King does get the Fate's Call available.
And Big Swips, again, is just getting access to this minion wave. And if you're a ranged matchup into Cho'Gath, you really have to deny that. Because the big man just has so much sustain of killing creeps, and now
He's got to whack him.
Hit him. One more time. Silence. No silence. Oh, he does go for a silence. Misses it. You could see that he was torn. He was like, do I want to conserve mana, or do I want to go for this? Chippy's, again, nice trade this time.
Turning it around, so no pots available for Big Swoops here. Is just going to look for the recall, I think, going back into those far bushes, walking down behind his turret. Chippies is looking for him, trying to get a cheeky bit of a cancel as, Winter's Bite does hit the creep there, so they don't get a whole lot of anything.
And talk to me about Callista. Why was Callista 100% pick ban at Worlds and still continues to see such high priority? What does she do?
Just such an oppressive laning phase. She's so strong, has so much all-in potential. If you misstep, she can just chase you down with those Ren stacks and pop you. And then in a meta like this one, where you do have hyper carries, such as the Azir, such as the Kog'Maw, she just allows your tank support, the Ali, the Braum, the Shen, you just give them a free engage tool to then extend their engage range onto these carries that sit so far back. So Cupcake, obviously on the Taric last game, didn't have that available, but now on the Braum, King's just going to pick him up, throw him on the carries, and he's then going to be able to use his abilities not to bridge the gap, but already be on top.
Cool, we'll see whether that is the way it works out. Laning phase definitely going a little bit better right now. However, Fantix on the Cog is still definitely holding his own.
Fantix has always played Cog, actually. He played it in the mid lane for Direwolves last season.
Certainly did. He played the attack speed Cog as well, as we see a gank now. Babip goes in onto King. Instant exhaust. However, that will just be the flash away. And this is what we're talking about. The turnaround damage is there. Destiny going to take a heck of a lot. And now Fantix is tagged. They use the Ignite. The Eat was still available. A little bit of split focus. So they take some harass back. All in all, pretty even trade. However, 2 key summoner spells burnt for the Direwolves versus only 1 for the Chiefs.
Yep, the exhaust was fairly early. Destiny could not get in range to do a whole lot more than the tongue lash there, and Fantix standing pretty far back. So unfortunately, Chiefs not entirely on the same page there, but a little bit too far forward as Praelis is looking for an invade, but the red buff was just taken.
He's already level 6.
Yeah,
This is just
monster.
not fair. He farms so quickly. You can see Babip, even with his next buff, not able to contest the Shyvana. So we'll chase him out of the jungle. And with that knowledge now that Babip has gone to the top side of the map, Praelis can potentially look at a cheeky dragon.
He could just solo that one. Is he going to ulti over the wall? He is. Great play out of Praelis here. Honestly, coming in as a substitute, he's doing work for this lineup. It might be mirrored. Was on the top side Wraith Camp rush there as he got the 1v1 in the last game. Didn't quite get the kill, but forced him out. Same situation here.
But so much more valuable. A Chunk versus an early Infernal Drake on Shyvana. Just gives her such a good snowball. And you can see Chippy's also has vision on Babip.
They know he's there, but Triple's getting pushed into the mid lane.
Chippy's actually might be in a little bit of trouble here.
He's level 5. I don't think the Kha'Zix is going to do too much. The Armored Titan pushing in the top lane. Doesn't want to help his jungler there, so Babip just gets the hell out of dodge, walks away.
Yeah, doesn't look for the chunk there. Thought maybe would have... I mean, it is Vladimir. He'll get access to the wave and just heal it up.
100%. He is level 7 as well, so if he does overcommit, potential to be taken down there. That's Triple. Not as bad as last game, but in the similar situation here. First Ryoma on the Cassio. 3 members of the Chiefs on the top side.
Orianna is very cooldown reliant as Babip finds Praelis. Reverse style this time. However, Praelis is like, come at me, bro. I'll fight ya.
Who's going to get it? Who's going to get it? Babip wants it. Going to get zoned away by the Orianna ball. Does not actually contest there, but by coming out of the Chiefs bottom lane there, Destiny looking to get some vision around the mid side of the map. Double pinks there in the river and in the brush, but the big purchase by Fantix here, the Wit's End. Not going to do a whole lot in the laning phase in terms of the magic resist, but obviously the on-hit damage is going to be very helpful in keeping the Kalista and Braum at bay.
Yeah, for sure. However, this bottom lane turret has just taken so much damage. Destiny leaves the lane just for a little bit of vision, and it gets chunked down to only a quarter health.
That's a one-play wonder. All Direwolves need is to bring Praelis down, help out the mid lane, get Triple a push going, and then 4 of them just walk down to that bot side. Kalista, ulti, Fate's Call, throw in the Braum. That's a very easy dive for them if they know where Babip is on the other side of the map. Swiper doesn't have TP available for the moment, so they've got about a minute to pull it off if they choose, but Praelis looking for an invade on the top side, so potentially not going to look for it.
You can see King looking much more comfortable this game with the dancing shoes on, is up right now about 7 CS if all this creep goes through. And Babip wants Praelis again. He shorts the jump. Of course, upgrading that R gives you a little bit more speed, a little less distance on the hop. Doesn't get him.
Yep, they had the pressure in the mid lane again. Ryoma was walking up, floating to the top side of the river, so Praelis gets out nicely, doesn't have to use his ultimate to get away, so that's a big deal for him. Chippies did get a base off there with the pressure, obviously shoved in the lane slightly, so buys himself up that item we were talking about, Frost Queen's claim there. And the biggest thing, I think, has hold that thought, bit of an engage. Exhaust comes out.
Big engage, actually. Exhaust comes across, as you said, but stun goes down onto Destiny, so in the end, wasted summoner spell. And this bottom lane has been very strange.
Very strange. They're looking for it again, and that's twice that the Braum passive has denied Destiny there. On both engages, he has been punished by that. Got a big chunk. Obviously, the grey health there mitigates some of the damage, but...
They obviously must feel if they can get 1 kill onto Fantix, and this lane just becomes very oppressive for King due to range.
Absolutely.
However, they haven't been able to execute upon it, and a couple of times just, you know, have to wonder whether maybe better off focusing a different area of the map. We see right now that CS advantages everywhere for Chiefs members, but that bottom lane.
And as you mentioned, the Kalista, I think, in my eyes, Kalista, just like MF, are both far more successful when they're ahead. which is kind of a no-brainer, but they're very bad from behind. Callista, if you're behind on that matchup, then your support's going to be squishier. Obviously, he's going to get a lot less done if you throw him in, but she doesn't have the damage to back up the Ren. Obviously goes attack speed item first here in the Bork, so if she's too far behind, resists are picked up, you get the tabbies, you just do a whole lot of nothing. So obviously that's what Chiefs see in this matchup. They do want to get the Kog'Maw slightly ahead, as you said, to abuse that rage advantage. The W coming out now, getting a cheeky trade.
I mean, but really all for naught, because even though the Chiefs are doing fine on creep score, they are just continually getting pushed in. Top lane now pushed in, bottom lane pushed in, Fantix getting chunked, and this could be the turret. You can see that they're pinging assists right now into the lane, and they're just going to back away. 100%. Very nicely played.
Yeah, they are going to lose the turret, unfortunately, but they will get stopped here. Cupcake is going to be in range for the Q. Does not choose to use it. Tanks a bunch of damage there, but it will not matter, as the other bot lane has based. And interestingly, they aren't going top. They're going back to the bot side, so they do want to catch this wave. Direwolves can have 4 members down here if they choose. The mid laners.
The reason they dropped that ward is because you like to see how much of a creep wave is left available. You could see that it was enough that it was going to push through, so they feel they can grab it here and freeze. Bit of a tempo advantage right now as Babip actually goes on to Chippies, who pulls straight away. Babip has flash available, potentially could have traded, but does not go for it. And instead, now they get up into Swiper's lane, and they might be able to trade this.
And that's exactly what I want to talk about in the item, Frost Queen's Claim. He did not have to face check the bush. He had an inkling that Babip was there, but if he just walks up to that bush, places a ward, Kha'Zix kills him 100% of the time. He dashes on him, burns the pool. Kha'Zix has flash to chase. He would just one-shot him, but has the non-committal vision there, as there is a bit of a 2v2 looking to come out here.
Certainly is. You can see Chippy's actually teleported back, and now Praelis is in there. Swiper is by himself and will fall down. This time around, it will be first blood, and it will be picked up by the Direwolves.
Swiper does go down there. First blood. Takes out most of the waves, so they're not going to get a whole lot of push going on here. Going to have to wait for the next one as Praelis' second solo objective for the game.
This is the opposite. Red time side teams at the moment, Bryce. Just all about the objectives. As actually Ryoma goes very low.
That's
no mana on Triple, but just runs straight at him. Takes a boatload more damage.
Triple had no mana, and Ryoma does have the heal there, so if he did land the Q, potentially could have won the 1v1, knowing that he wouldn't have had mana to retaliate there, but looking for a recall. Triple looking to stop it, but can't quite get under the turret. We'll just push the wave in. That is the audio cue for the Rift Herald picking up there.
And I know, no longer Colorcaster, but this is the point I did want to bring up, is that when Orianna has access to blue buff, the ability to just ult on cooldown and chunk out a lane gets her a lot of priority. You can see they've rotated over their bottom lane, trying to protect the wave a little bit. Will have the Herald to be able to hit the turret. However, not confident enough. So, a little bit of a wasted Rift Herald there.
Potentially premature there. Triple, obviously, as we were talking about, no mana. Wanted to get the recall off, but they did call their bot lane, but Chiefs saw the play happening, had the vision in the bot side of the map there, did just get cleared out, but another solo for the air Drake here for Praelis. That's 2 dragons, so he's just getting tankier as this goes on, and as we were saying, don't get the turret with the Rift Herald, potentially a missed opportunity.
That is a big Shyvana, however.
Yeah.
Already, Praelis is a couple of camps up. All camps give equal value now, so you can take CS at face value, unlike last year where you kind of had to do some sneaky counting.
Junglers could cheat.
Yeah, junglers
do
definitely
golems and
could
wraiths
cheat.
only. Skip all the other ones and then think they're real good.
Yeah. Now, however, they all give 4. So you can't really do that. So he is just a lot of camps up.
Absolutely. And that's it's kind of what you want ideally in this matchup, right? He has the kill, which is a huge bonus, but you want to be avoiding the 1v1 with the Kha'Zix early. He does have that isolation. Execute damage there. So, looking to avoid that one.
Triple in a bit of trouble. Actually gets silenced. Knockup will come through. He's just going to be eaten here. Oh, he flashes out of the eat, but the other eat from Tom Kench comes out, and then Swiper eats him as well. Just 3 2 of them successful.
Absolutely. Caught out of position there. Nice silence into the Rupture from Swiper. Obviously, silence negates the flash there. Can't get out of it. And he burns both summoners in the end anyway. And Direwolves, 30 seconds ago, were in the position of taking Chiefs mid turret and completely flipped on its head, and Chiefs might be looking for more.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, right now they can see that the Callista is in the top lane. Support isn't with her, but kind of nullifies any kind of engage. Praelis looking for it, goes over the wall. They will engage onto Destiny, and as you said already, that stun means that the Grey Health not going to be effective straight away. Ultimate out of Cupcake means that it hits both of them, and they are able to chase Fantix down. Chippies flies in, he picks up the second kill, and the Direwolves hit back.
Oh, actually perfectly played out of Cupcake there. They burn all the passives onto Tahm Kench there, get him stunned up, get all the grey health out of the way, gets him to eat the Kog'Maw, and then they flash over the Tahm Kench once he's burned all his cooldowns. Nice double kill there, and they do look to pick up the mid lane turret.
And that is just so unsuspecting, because if you're a jungler and a support at this stage, going up against an AD carry in support, you think that's maybe even, and Fnatic should be able to turn around. But this Shyvana is so accelerated, able to take it as a big DOS there.
Takes a bunch of damage, but Fnatic still has the stopwatch available. Mind you, in that situation, wouldn't have been helpful, so rightly chooses not to use it here, as we do see this once again. Onto the Tahm Kench early. When ganking the Tahm Kench lane, that's what you want to do, because if you want to go into the Kog'Maw, then he's just going to get eaten, you're going to walk away, but double flash from the Direwolves as Chippy's ghost in on the back line, doesn't even need to be there. Prayless, as you said, so strong, proccing the Braum passives time after time, gets themselves 2 kills.
That's what I wanted to talk about as well. Twin bite. People forget that it is 2 auto attacks a lot. They think it's just a reset. So that is very easy
quick.
to proc a Braum passive.
Absolutely.
Like the synergy there.
As both teams looking to set themselves up into a 1v run here, the bot lanes are going to meet up in the middle lane.
That's a bit of a funky build coming out of Chippy's right now. Has actually picked himself up a Banshee's Veil, so he's got 30% cooldown just off his items. You would expect that he's got another 10% potentially off the tree that he's gone. So he's probably sitting at max cooldown reduction without a Zhonya's Hourglass.
Maybe.
Which is...
potentially there. Obviously, Banshees now does give a fair amount of AP, so it's not like he's just gone super scared, super defensive here. Does do a fair amount of damage and does have the stick potential with those spooky ghosts coming up. But this 1-3-1 setup is definitely in the side lane with Triple and Cassio going to be beneficial for the Chiefs. But I think we're looking at the other side of the map here. You see Prayless just so strong.
Yep.
He's going to want to gank for this duo lane in the mid lane. They're going to throw in the Braum, get Prayless in there with the Shyvana ulti and get a few kills.
Yeah, you would want to see Babip be a little bit more active if they stick in this 1-3-1 for too long, as Kha'Zix does thrive, especially if he gets level 11, is able to get those upgraded Void Spikes. Just means that that slow is going to allow both side laners to stick incredibly well.
And they're just juggling right now, both teams. Cassio was bottom, so they throw the Orianna down there, and then Cassio bases, walks top, and Chippy's is like, nah, no, get me out, I don't want to deal with that. And then so he bases, goes bot lane now against the Cho'Gath. Ori going to catch the side lane with Cassio, so a whole lot of juggling coming out between these two teams. This another Infernal Drake is a minute and a half away.
So what is the call at this stage of the game? Everyone's jockeying for position. You're trying to get your deploy right. If you're the Chiefs, I assume you're saying, let's just wait this one out, stall a little bit for some items on our hyper carriers. Direwolves, are they looking to force?
Well, right now, absolutely not. They're just looking to set up. The Baron is spawning in 45 seconds. The Dragon is spawning in 1:20, as you see on the top left-hand side of your screen. So they're just getting the vision control around the Baron right now. Obviously, that's what they've chosen. Shyvana going to do a whole lot of damage. They have the extra secure coming out of the Kalista here as they're looking for a pick, and obviously these choke points are just so good for the lineup of the Direwolves. They have the Hemo Plague coming out of Chippy's. They have the all the AoE coming out of Shyvana. She's going to do so much damage and bunch them up. And then Kalista with the Runards hitting multiple people. Braum Fisher coming through. It's just the perfect, ideal situation to die.
They're going in. Fnatic had already been eaten, so he has to pop the stopwatch. However, Shockwave comes across, and that just rips them apart. Now Destiny is in stasis. However, King is untouched on the backline and is just chunking people out. The Direwolf taking over, but Ryoma hits a big Cassiopeia ult again. That's going to be 2 members falling down. He is just going huge at the moment. Ryoma with a double kill, pops the heal, will not chase. Actually, he does, and this might be his demise. Chippies now will be able to chunk him out. Ryoma nearly gets him as well. In the end, it's only Swiper left alive, but Ryoma from the Chiefs just went huge.
Such a good setup from the Direwolves that they pull the trigger on the engage. Fate's Call, throw the Braum in, but Ryoma coming from behind their flanks gets so much damage down. And then the Braum just could not get on top of Ryoma. They could not get the auto attack, so no passive to lock him down, just kiting away from Chippies. Eventually will fall, but that was huge monstrous team fight that just came out of nowhere in the mid lane.
Absolutely monstrous, and now they pop the Tahm Kench ulti, maybe looking to see if they can get a pick on the other end. It's just Destiny by himself chasing away Chippies.
Yeah.
Will mean the reset is a little bit longer for Vladimir. Potentially some positioning around Baron they can get off the back end of that.
And that's the big thing. The Direwolves were poised to set up for a 20-minute Baron there. They were getting lots of vision, looking for a pick, as we see Prayless taking down another free Dragon for himself here, but they were setting up for that objective, and now they pull the trigger on the dive. Semi-successfully, they are still up in gold, 3K here, almost 2.3, I guess. will net themselves a dragon, but they do lose that potential around the Baron.
Certainly do. So Prayless, the passive, is just getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
And
Now he's level 12.
He's doing them very quickly, Bryce. So he's going to get 5 in this game, potentially. Which is a lot.
That is a lot. That is so much free stats here, and they are just repeating the same setup as before. Chippy's in the bot lane, doesn't have access to the teleport, but on the other side, neither does Swiper.
Only one blue trinket right now for the Chiefs lineup. Potentially see another member swap over if you're behind, or do you like to stay with the Reds?
No, 100%. You need sweepers if you're ahead and blues if you're behind. I think 2 is the maximum, potentially 3 if you're really struggling, but against this lineup, we've already talked about the fight potential around Baron for the Direwolves. You need ways to non-committally check the Baron. And obviously they have the Kog'Maw ulti, but he needs to get in there pretty close to be able to cast that one. Is level 11 now, so it has a bit more range.
Cupcake has flash available.
So
Fantix double summoner spells. Might have to burn one here. He just does get eaten.
Nice, just ghosting his teammate there, Destiny, trailing behind. Keeping himself out of the way there, but does get to eat him up.
Want to talk about Swiper's item build just a little bit. 2 AoE mages. You're going to have a Cho'Gath with around 5,000 health with a Locket. Potentially nullifying a lot of that damage if he gets to the fight early enough.
Yep, 100%. He's a big boy. Looking to be double Locket, as you say, on the Time Kench as well. Destiny going through. We did, for a time, after the Ardent Sensor meta, or Ardent Saucy, as Swiffer so eloquently put it, we saw Zeke's emerge as the next item. And that obviously builds out of the Aegis there.
Aegis, Other item that builds out of Aegis is, of course, the Banner of Command. Against split-pushing Vladimir.
Could be good.
Potentially could be very good. Minky Whale, when he was on Legacy, was the first to popularize that into Rise. However, this is going to be the Baron setup.
Chiefs do know about it. There is the vision there. Do they commit for the end here? Chippies
does get a big Hemo flag across, and now all of a sudden Fantix steps forward, and Chippy's nearly solos him. That is going to be Dragon falling down, Baron falling down, and now the fight will really start. Shockwave goes across, Babbitt falls down, Rupture lands on 2. Cassio looking for the damage, but misses the ultimate. First time this game. Successful disengage, and it will be a Baron and a Babip dead for the Direwolves. 2 huge things to talk about. First, that is the prototypical Direwolves Baron there. Chippies has TP. You saw it last split so much when he's playing the Camille, playing the Jax. He just pulls the trigger. They just TP and 5 minute, knowing that you have the vision and they have the secure with the Callista. The other big point is his rune, the unsealed spellblock. Not only does it give you the option to change that one up, you can go from the Ghost as he has now to the Teleport. It does give you 25% summoner cooldown. So Chippies in the mid lane fight, TP'd same time as Swiper, but he has the extra cooldown and he could get there first. And also paired with the boots. 10% additional cooldown on Teleport Flash, as well as the Ghost. As now Prayless wants a piece of Swiper. You can see Cupcake is here as well, potentially going to land a stun, and Swiper's in some trouble. This is how strong the Shyvana is at the moment. In a 1v1, he would have beaten him. When 4 members show up, Swiper doesn't stand a chance. I mean, Swiper just can't do anything at that point. He's not going to be able to kill the Shyvana. She's so tanky and also does so much damage. Has the MR from the Spectre's Cowl. Just can't run anywhere. Like, you can't do anything. No flash. He's just slowed down for the Mallet. Baron coming through. Sticking in there as the rest of Direwolves were the first to collapse. No Time Kench available to devour him out of that one. So nice pick from the Direwolves. Probably going to net themselves another turret here. And if the Chiefs did a good job of nullifying the topside advantage Direwolves had in game number 1, this time the Direwolves have done a great job of making sure that it is all about Prayless and Chippy. They have been the 2 standout members. Cupcake also 009, 100% KP at this point, would be very happy with himself. Because they are looking for the inhib turret. Can the Chiefs defend? They have a little bit of wave clear, but not too much, as they are getting pushed in on both sides of the lane. They have actually put Fantix in the mid lane defending against the against Chippies. Tom Kench floating Destiny in between the 2 lanes. He knows that if Chippies goes onto Fantix, he wants to be able to eat him out of all the damage there, and Direwolves do retreat. Adaptive Helm now picked up for Prayless, going to make Ryoma's job even more difficult. It's nearly a 10,000 gold lead. They're only 25 minutes into this one. I mean, what are we looking at, Bryce? What do the Chiefs need to do to turn this one around? Or is it just, you know, we've only got the base left available, so... I mean, that is the hardest portion of the map to break, and they do have the tools to do it here on the Direwolves. They have the Fate's Call to just throw and engage out, but again, on the likes of Chiefs, the Time Kench can save one of the carries at a time. Definitely very hard to dive through a Cassiopeia here, but the lack of wave clear coming out of the Chiefs here will be their downfall, I guess, but... So talk to me about why it's the hardest part of the map to dive. You know, no flank available. Yep. Well, you can flank.
if you can get into the base through another avenue, if you put chippies in the top lane and you push bot, or the reverse like they're setting up now, he can literally just run through the base and come from behind. But obviously that's very difficult. You need to be very far ahead in the side lane, but it's also just the choke point. You have to funnel through the walls of the base just outside the turret, and the miasma basically covers that whole choke area. So if you walk through that, none of you can flash out. Cassio can look for an engage. So it just makes it very difficult there, as they're just doing it very slowly. This is nice, clean gameplay from the Direwolves. First game, the Chiefs, with the victory, wanted to absolutely demolish the Wolves. We're diving them under the Nexus, under the Fountain, pulling out all the stops with the BM here, but Direwolves playing it slow and steady. Do have that 10k gold lead, as you said, stealing away the blue buff here, just taking complete control of the map.
And as commanding of a performance Chiefs put on Game 1, you would have to say this has been utterly mirrored in Game 2. They are right now in complete control of all of the map, apart from the Chiefs base. I mean, you can see it, 3 turrets to 6, 3 turrets to 0. I mean, they've got a Baron for themselves as well. Literally, if it exists on Summoner's Rift right now, it belongs to Prayless.
Absolutely, and another Air Drake has spawned, so Fog of War, you can see Chiefs have very little vision outside of their portion of the map here, walking through their jungle, but they know that the Direwolves are on the Dragon, so...
And this is why it's so important. We hear all the time in pro play, push out the minion wave. If you can't get vision, just push out the minion waves, because it does give you at least the vision of the lanes.
Temporarily, yeah.
However, Prayless has just eaten another Dragon.
Yeah. That's 4 stacks. He's huge. He is absolutely huge.
6-minute respawn means he'll get another Elemental as well.
Yep. He's got a 60 CS lead in the jungle. He doesn't quite have more CS than the rest of his team. He's gonna struggle to catch up to King here. Yeah, 340.
Unfortunately, the piece I forgot about is if you're in solo queue and you tax a side lane, no one really. I mean, they care, but they can't really do anything. When you live in a gaming house, if you take Chippy's side lane,
give you a slap over the back of the head there. What were you doing? But I do think the Direwolves
from the fridge.
As we were talking about earlier, so hard to crack the base here, and Chiefs do have the potential to defend. So they're just waiting for an opportunity they find in the side lane. As you see, they're just kind of jostling around for map position. If they get a pick, then they'll look for a dive on the in-hit. But if they don't, they're just waiting for Baron to spawn in too.
And another thing is because there's so much MR, magic damage on the Chiefs lineup, all the Direwolves are just building MR.
Yep,
which means that, like, there's no way Prayless can really dive at this point because he doesn't have all that much armor. So, as you said, just going to stall out. If this was a 3 AD comp out of the Chiefs lineup, you know, maybe Swipers on Jason, Fantix is a little bit more traditional on something like an Asher or Jhin or something like that, then all of a sudden that's 2 armor items and maybe Prayless feels that he can fly under turrets. But due to comps alone, they're just going to play this one nice and slow and steady.
Yep, as you say, they do have the vision in the top side of the map now, just looking for picks. They've done this once before this game, and it was successful, so they're looking to do it again. Chiefs going to have a very hard time clearing this one out, very hard time finding their way into the top side of their own jungle.
So talk to me about, I mean, you're a losing team. You have, no, like, pretend you are. Pretend, far out. He's just so sensitive. You're a caster now. Let it go. It's in the past, Bryce. How do you allocate farm? How does Fantix and Ryoma say, this is my wave, this is your wave, or how do you...
I think it's honestly less relevant at this stage of the game. The biggest thing they want to worry about is the Baron spawning in 45. So waves are important. You obviously, if you want to contest the Baron, you need to be able to push out top and you need to be able to push out mid. So you throw whoever has the TP, which is Swiper in this case, in the bottom lane, dealing with Chippies constantly pushing that in. And the other two are just attempting to push the other 2 waves out in the mid and top respectively. But you just want to group up as quick as possible. You want to shove the waves and then stick together, because that's how you contest the vision. Very slowly.
The Kench ultimate behind it, and it is going to be the Shockwave burn. A good trade, you would have to say, if you're the Chiefs, because Tom Kench ult in a team fight, that doesn't do anything. Shockwave, however, pretty big.
But it gives them a very small window now. The Baron is spawning in 10. The Shockwave, it's already 1 quarter off cooldown, very quickly going to be coming up in the next 30 seconds.
You got to start it.
They have to start it. This is their window right now. They have to be able to burn this one down. They do have a lot of damage with the Cassio, with the Kog'Maw, but Direwolves know they're here, and Direwolves are really strong.
Yeah, exactly right. We'll see how they go for it. Ryoma turns around, a ton of damage onto King, and you can see the successful disengage. They cannot do Baron right now. Hemo Plague is in, and that will just be the disengaged Direwolves we're looking for. Cassio again not going to land, and so many big ultimates used.
And that ward is MVP over the wall. You see left-hand side of the screen, just below Swiper there. Saw them around the corner. Ryoma was looking for a cheeky ulti on multiple members there, but couldn't quite find it. Direwolves were well prepared for that one. Threw the ward over, knew he was there.
Chiefs give it up.
And that's the window. Chiefs had to take it, and they tried to take it, but they just don't pull out with the Baron there.
Yeah, exactly right. You can see the difference between someone like Braum and Tahm Kench. Tahm Kench protects the whole team at this stage of the game with the door. Braum, unfortunately, can only save one person.
Or the reverse, because Tom Kench doesn't have a door. That'd be Braum with the big shield, Hodor.
Yeah, okay, whatever.
And Tom Kench can only eat away one person.
One person. So you could see right there, one more time, Cupcake, MVP. And I was you were talking to Carbon before the game, and he said that this could potentially be the meta, where Cupcake is very, very comfortable.
Absolutely, Cupcake's meta. Tank supports wasn't too big on the range champions. Legacy last split did decide to put Claire in that role, unfortunately. Karma every single game. Come on, guys. But Cupcake has pulled out a few of his specialty picks with the Nautilus. Big tank player, big Braum. So definitely his place to shine in this meta right now, and he's doing it this game.
Certainly is. We'll see how Legacy go tomorrow, as they've got a very revamped lineup. Claire, the only existing member still on that team.
Direwolves preparing to siege the base once more. They do have the Baron available now. Their gold lead, 12k from the 10k was before. Slightly increased here, but similar situation as they were in before.
Rupture hits two members. King going to be one of them. He is silenced, and the door's already gone up. See whether there is a window now for any form of play. It looks like they've got a little bit of chip damage down.
Such an unfortunate thing for the Chiefs there that Ryoma was not there to capitalize. They did hit the Rupture. The Miasma could come through, stop him from burning the Flash, getting out of there. They didn't have the damage to pop him up. The King just going to whack away the turret again. Round 2, but just the silence landing. Rupture lands again. Do they commit? They do.
Potentially there, however, not going to be used. Flash forward from Ryoma will be one more time disengaged from Cupcake. Pops down the Redemption as well. And the Direwolves are just unrelenting in this pressure. And now Ryoma, the Fed member on the Chiefs, does not have Flash, does not have Ultimate.
And that's their only win condition in a fight now. Ryoma.
Prayless engaged on one more time. Cupcake going to be there. And Swiper just wants in, runs forward with the Righteous Glory. That's not the engage they're looking for. Turnaround damage is there. And Direwolves, they're not overcommitting. They're just playing this one so slow.
Yeah, and the Chiefs definitely looking desperate in that situation. DOS pops the Righteous Glory. They're looking for an engage, but they just can't find anything. Direwolves playing it very patiently, sitting in the top side of the map.
They're even pinging out the bottom lane wave.
Yeah, they're just waiting. Look how big that wave is. That's 3 to 4 waves. They're just waiting to push in. They have an opportunity now when somebody's going to match it. Chiefs know about it. Swiper's going down there to try and eat it, but they're just looking to pick up the next dragon.
You can see that every member is heading down there, and Babip is in a little bit of no man's land. Will be face called up. Ultimate will run across, but it misses, and he might be able to get out. No, will fall down to Chippies, and this means the Direwolves can finally fight. Stun goes off onto Destiny there. However, patient play one more time. They just say, nah, stop there, guys. We can take the turret.
And that's the pick they needed there. Babip going down.
Passive onto big ulti, and that's going to be Chippies falling down, and now they can turn it around. You can see the Kog'Maw marching forward. Not really all that much damage out of the Shockwave, and Triple's in trouble. Will get the poison proc, and on the top side of the map, actually, he's just going to fall down. Top side of the map, however, King in a little bit of trouble. Cupcake will fall down. And flashing forward there is Fantix. He's going huge. He's going to take them all out. Fantix with a triple kill instantly.
Such a split fight coming out there. You saw Prayless didn't do anything in the beginning, eventually decides to go onto Ryoma, and that's the signal for Fantix. At the end of that fight, flashing forward, absolutely nailing 3 members of the Direwolves, and that's the whole. They lost the turret, but they didn't lose the inhib. That's huge.
And there are so many threats on this team right now. You can see that Ryoma goes forward, gets taken out in the 2v1. However, then Fantix knows that everyone has used everything. Finally, he can flash in and picks up a huge teamfight victory. Prayless takes himself a Constellation Drake. That's going to be his 5th of the game. I think that's nearly maximum available, to be honest.
We're zooming through this teamfight again. Let's take another look. He flashes over that one, picks up 1 kill. King, Destiny flashes forward with him again. They get the 2 kills there. That's going to be the triple picked up.
And you know, you said that maybe, just maybe, Ryoma, not the best mid laner on the team. Raze, best AD carry on the team?
No, Raze is the perfect player. Don't talk about Raze.
Raze is the perfect player.
He's the perfect player. That's what you call him the entire last split. But whilst we have this reset on the map, I do want to talk about a few things. The composition's coming out. Direwolves, single tank coming out. Oh, sorry, duo tank with a Shyvana. Off tank, I guess, at this stage.
Has gone a Abyssal Mask.
Abyssal Mask. Does a lot of magic damage with her W, with her Qs.
E is the big one for magic damage.
Absolutely there. But with the compositions here, the scaling on the side of Chiefs is insane. You look at the Kalista, she will fall off compared to the Kog'Maw. You look at the Orianna, she can get a big wombo combo at the end of the game. She can land a 4-man Shockwave, but in terms of consistent damage over the course of a team fight, and we've seen these fights going on for so long, Cassio will reign supreme there. So Chiefs, you have to think that that could have been the switch play, or the swing play rather, in that situation. They did get themselves some control of the map. The wards have pushed outside of their jungle into the river here. And Direwolves has just had so much control over the map for such a long time, and this could be Chiefs' window back into the game.
Certainly could be. League of Legends, a funny game. The longer you have the lead, the more irrelevant it becomes.
Yeah, that sucks.
A lead at 20 minutes is great. A lead at 15 minutes doesn't really mean all that much.
Surely that's wrong.
Yeah, it certainly looks to be. Babip jumping forward, looking for a little bit of a team fight.
Can't quite find anything to stick on there. Both top laners are looking to join the fight here. Potential just a big 5v5 looking out, but I believe both teams just going to go catch the side waves.
And look how big Swiper is at the moment. Knight's Vow, Locket. He's got a lot of cooldown reduction, but the double Knight's Vow, one onto Fantix, one onto Ryoma, for me, could be the point of this game that turns it, because you can see they're just falling down so slowly.
And is this the point where Fantix start frontlining? A lot of people hear the term frontline Cogmore and think, what are you doing? That's absolutely atrocious. Like, why are you in the front line? But he is so scary with the Tahm Kench. Obviously a substitute coming in here, but he is on the roster anyway. If he does have the synergy with Destiny there to sit behind him, can eat him out of a shockwave, Fantix can just run at the tanks, he'll shred them down, has the Bork, has the Rune Eyes to hit multiple members, and we'll just shred through the front line of Direwolves here, looking for an engage, but...
Yeah, that's ultimate burnt one more time. This time out of Praelus. Is a very short cooldown as long as he's hitting things, so it won't matter all that much. Babip also burnt his.
You know my favorite thing about this meta?
What?
It's the 80 carries take Relic Shield, so the supports actually get decent CS numbers. Look at that. They're sitting on 130 here as the engage coming out.
Yeah, it certainly is. And one more time. This time it's going to be... Was that a flash burnt
That was King's Flash.
King's Flash. And you can see that Cupcake wants in. However, Flank is on the other side of the fight as well. Can't really see who they're chasing. It is Ryoma. Misses the ultimate. And now will just be flanked by everyone. Ryoma will fall down. That will be Baron potentially. Although Cupcake on the other side. So it's a 1-for-1.
You have to think the Cassio is just so much more important than the Braum at this stage of the game. He was doing so much damage for this Chiefs lineup, but...
You say that, but as long as they can keep Fantix safe and there's no Braum to put the door up, there's a chance for them to win this fight. 2 people in the pit, 2 people out of the pit. That is not what you want. And Chippies goes forward. Destiny will be able to save Fantix, but nah, he just goes down. Chippies is too big, and that means only the tanks are left available. Shockwave will hit no one. A little bit of a party Shockwave, and they will just look to disengage now. However, the chase is still strong. You see King hopping forward, slow out there onto Destiny. Whenever they're doing the chasing, though, they're not doing the Baron.
They are. It will be a consolation Baron anyway. They are going to get it no matter what. They do lose a bit of tempo chasing down the Tahm Kench kill, but... As you said, with Ryoma down, Fantix at this stage of the game is the only one doing significant damage on this lineup. And you saw with the start of that engage, Chippy's flashing in, doing 90% of Fantix's health in one combo. Destiny eats him out of that, then he gets taken out on the back end of the Devour. So nice play out of the Direwolves. They do find the pick. A little bit of miscommunication with Cupcake there as he goes downwards to get onto Fantix as the rest of the team goes up onto Ryoma. But they do find themselves with another Baron. With a 12k gold lead here again, can they break the base? They got an inhib turret last time. Can they get an inhib?
Yeah, and the staggered death potentially could have meant something. However, with a hard reset, it will be Destiny back available. The split out of the Chiefs was very interesting there because you saw Swiper chase 2 members, and he's the one with the big locket, Jim, and that's what I want to talk about. Potentially, sit on Fantix was the correct call and just throw every defensive spell available.
Absolutely. And you see Chippies is the one that's killing Fantix. He's diving in the backline. And with the amount of health that Cho'Gath has, he doesn't have the Gargoyle Stoneplate with that combo with the Feast, but he still does significant amount of damage. So Chippies goes in. Yeah, so, I mean, not to mention the silence, right? We already talked about that, but Chippies goes in, looks for an engage.
In goes Praelus one more time. Will have the ball on top of him, uses the ultimate. You can see the return damage out of Fantix at this stage of the game is absolutely massive. They will force into the lane without a turret, but grouping as 5. Cassio is top, however, so there is a window right now they can take this for free.
I think Chiefs have just decided to give this one up. They know without the turret, they're not going to be able to defend this. 13k gold lead now, no turret. I thought it was potentially premature from Praelus to burn that ulti there. Not going to be able to get onto Fantix as well without that one available, but they did see Cassio, Ryoma in the top side of the map.
Swiper doesn't take much damage at the moment.
He doesn't care. He's going to heal the back up. That's all right. He's going to hit a few minions and he'll be K.
So how do they end this game? I mean, potential Elder Drake coming out. Force the Chiefs out of their base now that bottom inhib's been taken.
Yeah, well, there absolutely will be a fight over Elder right now. Chiefs are pushing up the middle lane, trying to get priority, but Direwolves have the Baron, so it will be a bit slow. And they are in the side brush, looking for the pick here, looking to stop Chiefs walking down the river.
Cupcake gets the tag there, and you can see Swiper actually streaming forward, looking for a knock-up. Will hit Cupcake, so a bit of damage coming out. Doesn't force the door. I think that's what they were looking for.
Yeah.
And you can see they are just so cautious of Chippies right now. And they are actually looking to give up a 5-stack Elder Drake, a Baron buff team. How do you fight this Direwolves lineup?
This is a fast team. That's triple Air Drake with the Elder there. Out of combat, they're going to be zooming around the map here. They already have the bot lane inhib down. So that lane's going to push in for the Direwolves now. Chippy's probably going to sit in the top lane here. As actually, no, they're just shoving it straight down mid. Cassio was doing the blue buff. Do they know? They're pinging. Pings onto Ryoma.
They actually will be able to spot him out now as they force the flash. Knock-up comes out even though he was stunned. And Ryoma again will be taken down. Now Chippies is onto Bibib. Will have to burn the ultimate to get out. But a huge pick out of the Direwolves.
Clean play out of Cupcake. Knew he was going to get ulted anyway, but buffered his ultimate. The Fisher to knock up Ryoma there. Do get the pick. That's huge for them. Fantix the only one dealing significant damage in this defense. 4v5 for 40 seconds.
Yeah, and this is going to be so hard. You can already see the 5 Elder Drake squad streaming in. Fantix gets hit by 2 spells. They burn the locket, and that will be Nexus Turret 1 going down. Nexus Turret 2 will follow. Shockwave onto Fantix. Nearly 1 hits him. Swipe is dead, and this will be the Direwolves running a train over the Chiefs, and they will be able to pick up the win. However, they return the favor. They stick around. They make sure they pick up the ace.
And that's a huge turnaround game for the Direwolves. They're stomped in game 1. Game 2 bringing it back. The substitute jungler coming in clutch. MVP for this lineup. Prayless, huge performance on the Shyvana there. Have to give him props, and honestly, Cupcake as well. His game 1 performance, pretty lackluster, I think, on the tier Taric, but Braum complimented him multiple times around that game. Clean play out of him.
100% agree. When you have a look at someone like a Shyvana, it's so easy to point out how obvious the play is, like taking dragons, taking the early rift, but the small decision-making process that Cupcake went through in that game, the ability to hit clutch Qs, the clutch ultimate at the end in that pick, he came up absolutely massive, and that squares us off 1-1.
Yeah, absolutely. And even Triple at the end of that game there doesn't burn the Ori Shockwave onto Fantix when he's the only member alive initially, because he knows Destiny's sitting right behind him. He knows he can eat him out of that Shockwave there, so holds it, goes for the chunk, and then holds off till the last second to blow that cooldown there. So huge play out of the Direwolves and net themselves a win.
Yeah, 1-1 now going into this in the grand final rematch. Both the teams, I think, would have taken major things out of this game. I mean, Kalista now becoming a high priority in that bottom lane. We saw how many times Fate's Call became a priority. But red side, what is, I mean, is it because there's so many OPs, the trade is so good? Is it access to Baron or Dragon? Like, red side just seems to have a clear advantage.
I think it is the OPs there. You saw a lot of them hit the deck. You see the Ornn, see the Zoe, but also Chiefs are kind of bottlenecked because of Fangix in the bot lane. He doesn't play the Kalista, and that's been made obvious over these 2 games. Direwolves have the capacity to do that one there, so they do pick it up game 2, whereas Fantix can only play the more traditional AD carries, play the Kog'Maw, play maybe the Tristana, Jhin, things like that. So it does limit them in terms of stylistic options in the bot lane, because he's not going to be picking up those lane bullies.
And on the flip side of that, it's not just the bottom lane that seems to be getting away from the Chiefs right now. Direwolves' top laner, Chippies, had a good early game in game number 1. Game number 2 had just a brilliant game everywhere.
Yeah, 100%. Picks himself up the flex Vlad, as we see, becoming more and more popular. Unsealed Spellblock, unlocking that pick there. Spooky Ghost, first item. He was getting pushed in early, but that's just the matchup there, and then does turn it around. He was the big factor in those late-game teamfights that was killing Fantix when he was the only one alive. As we said in Champs League, such an easy time getting onto the backline there. Pulls under the front line, under the Cassio, just blows him up.
And the member of the Chiefs that looked like at one point was going to be able to carry was Ryoma. However, talk to me about aggressive players. When you play on the knife's edge, sometimes you look like a genius, other times you look like a little bit of a silly goose. Ryoma flirting with that line a little bit.
Yeah, he was definitely dancing on the line. I do think the big play, talking about that one, is when he was caught in the top side that led to the Baron. Cupcake, King actually, flash forward with Cupcake, ripped him up, threw him into the back lines, and then he was just caught off completely from the rest of his team. Does go down there, but you do have to think at this stage for the Direwolves, despite winning that game, is the Cassio a problem? Because that's 2 from 2 games. We've seen it into the Rise, now into the Orianna. Triple just doesn't seem to have an answer for this.
Yeah, it certainly does not. Whereas Triple, when he was on Avant Gaming, seemed to have the answer to Ryoma against lots of matchups. However, guys, that is all from us. Let's throw it back to Laura and Carbon to break down that game.
Thanks, guys. I'm back with Carbon to talk about a few things from that game. Firstly, Prayless picked up Shyvana in the jungle, did amazingly on it, and had lots of map pressure against Babip that was on Kha'Zix. So do you think that Shyvana counters Kha'Zix in the jungle?
Oh, I don't think Shiv is a counter to Kha'Zix. I think she definitely has strengths, like big strengths, and very different strengths to Kha'Zix. Kha'Zix is all about ganking, about hitting 6, assassinating people who are out of position using his isolation, whereas Shyvana is all about dominating the jungle, pressuring camps, pressuring the enemy jungler as opposed to the lanes. And I think this was a fantastic game by Praelis. I mean, you have to big thumbs up to him for stepping in as a sub, big shoes to fill in Shernfire, and I think he played incredible. I think that one. That first Wraith steal, chicken steal, I should say, or I should say Raptor, really. But that first Raptor camp that he took and then based, I thought that was really good, completely under Babip's nose. He then used that pressure. I mean, at one point he was level 6 to Babip's level 4. Started off with the first Fire Drake, got 5, I think, in the end. Like every drag after that, took Rift Herald. I think really well played by him. I think Shyvana. I don't think she's super strong in the meta, but I think Praelis made it work.
He played it well.
Yeah.
So as Shyvana, your goal is to put pressure on the opposite jungler, build up your farm, and then go for the Rift Herald and the dragons. And yeah, as you said, I think they got 5 or 6 dragons in the end, which
they got
is
every
a bit
single
crazy.
one. Dragon on dragon action.
But you were saying that she's not the best champion at ganking lanes, but it kind of worked in her favor.
Yeah. I think again, hats off or thumbs up. To Sharp. I think the draft was really good. I think they picked pretty much ungankable lanes. Vlad, very difficult to gank. Kalista Braum. I mean, we saw Babip try to gank that lane. He almost got 2v3'd. He had to get out real quick, and they had to use the time eat on Cog. So I think that it was a really smart draft. I mean, they had side lanes which opened up the Shyvana to play aggressive because he didn't have to worry about babysitting them. And then, Praelis he just really put the work in.
Were you expecting him to show up today? Because in the coach interview, Sharp said he was fitting in almost seamlessly into the Direwolves, but I think he's surprised a lot of us today. Yeah,
well, I think he's been playing quite well in solo queue recently. I'm also privy to Legacy Scrims, and they've been playing Direwolves, and I've definitely been impressed with Praelis, I think, for an OCS rookie. You know, he's never played OPL before, and for his first series playing against the Chiefs, from what I've seen in scrims and what I've seen so far today, I mean, even game 1, I thought he played quite well despite losing. I think Praelis is definitely someone to watch.
On the other side of that, for subs anyway, we have Fantix in the ADC for Chiefs. Were you surprised at all by his performance this game? It was maybe a bit more lackluster compared to last game.
Fantix, Richard, Dicky, he's nuts. He's actually nuts. Like that's like, you can't just like come in and off roll and just show everyone up. You know what I mean? Like, I thought he played amazing on the Twitch. We didn't talk about Dicky at all in the first game, but I thought his Twitch was so good. Babip was lucky to get the last hit on a few of really good roams by him. But I thought in that game as well, the base defense, I mean, Direwolves had him on toast, really, for 30 minutes or so. They were 10, 12k up the entire time. They just couldn't break the base. Fantix was just playing so well. I think that one flash forward in the bot lane was just it was like 35, 40 minutes or something. I actually jumped out of my chair because I was like, "What are you doing?" Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're a sub, you're not supposed to be doing that kind of shit. He's playing phenomenally, and Bryce touched on it. Probably doesn't have the biggest champion pool, but I think he's shown that he's prolific. He's good enough at enough champs to be a threat.
He's still got it. And both subs have been performing well today. But that is it from us. But do not go anywhere. We'll be right back with Game 3 between the Chiefs and Direwolves right after this break.
In there, Swiper is by himself and will fall down. This time around, it will be first blood and it will be picked up by the Direwolves. Ultimate out of Cupcake means that it hits both of them and they are able to chase Fantix down. Chippies flies in, he picks up the second kill and the Direwolves hit back. However, Shockwave comes across and that just rips them apart. Now Destiny is in stasis, however King is untouched on the backline and is just chunking people out. The Direwolf taking over, but Ryoma hits a big Cassiopeia ult again. That's going to be 2 members falling down. He is just going huge at the moment. Ryoma with a double kill. But on top side of the map, however, King in a little bit of trouble. Cupcake will fall down. And flashing forward there is Fantix. He's going huge. He's going to take them all out. Fantix with a triple kill instantly. And that will be Nexus Turret 1 going down. Nexus Turret 2 will follow. Shockwave onto Fantix. Nearly one hits him. Swipe is dead. And this will be the Direwolves running a train over the Chiefs. And they will be able to pick up the win. However, they return the favor. They stick around. They make sure they pick up the ace.